Hey everybody, so today I'm going to show you how to make this little pig. For the body, you're going to need about 582 bands. It does not have to be pink. Use any color that you'd like to use. I will be using 28 burgundy bands for the bottom of the feet. I will be using two 4mm pony beads, black for the eyes. If you don't have the pony beads, pick 2 bands for the eye color. You're going to need 1 stitch marker, your hook. We will be crocheting it today, and you're going to need some sort of stuffing. Now, in the tutorial, we are going to be sewing the legs first, so it might be just a little bit tricky, but the end result will be that his head doesn't fall over. So I do hope you enjoy, and I'm going to get started. The first thing that we're going to do is make the legs. I've made 3. So I'm going to do 1 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and make 3 more. You can choose the colors that you'd like to use. I will be using the burgundy. You can add the pink if you'd like, or a different color. What we're going to do first is round 1 is we're going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. I'm going to use Isalicious Designs technique and use the loom. So turn your loom upside down. We're going to take a single band and we're going to wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now, grabbing your hook, we're going to go inside, grab a single band and bring it through like you're doing a slip knot. On your hook, and bring this band over and bring it to the side. Go back in for your second band, grab it onto your hook, bring it through, on your hook, and now you want to bring these 2 bands over and bring it to the side. Go back in, grab your next band, bring it through, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side, and go back in for your 4th band, attach it to your hook, bring it through, and bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. Go back in for your 5th band, attach, bring it through, and now bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side and grab your 6th band and bring it through. Bring these 2 bands over. I'm going to use a C-clip for my stitch marker, remove it off the loom, and you should have 6 stitches. I'm just going to move my bands around so that my circle is nice and neat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the one on your hook is 6. For round 2 of the legs, I'm going to change color to pink, and the pattern is going to be 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. So where your stitch marker is, you'll just be adding 1 rubber band. I'm changing color, so I'm going to start off with a slip stitch. So I'm going to go in my first chain, bring a rubber band through all the loops that are on your hook. Grab the other end and slide. Now going in your next chain, we're going to be adding 2 rubber bands, 1 at a time. Bring it through the brown that you see here, on your hook, and slide. Go back in that same chain to add your 2nd rubber band. Now your next chain, again, we're going to be adding 2 rubber bands. Go back in, on your hook, and bring it through. Now your next 3 chains are just 1 rubber band in each. So the next chain with 1. Your next chain with 1. And your last chain with 1. So you should have 8 stitches. So we're going to count. We're not going to count where you see the little pink here. That's your slip knot. This is your chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the one on your hook is 8. Remove your stitch marker and attach it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 3 and 4 of the leg, All we're going to do is single crochet in each chain around. So you're adding one rubber band all the way around. I'm going to do 3 and 4 with you. So I'm going to go on my first chain, grabbing one band, and bring it through. So at the end of each round, you should have 8 stitches. Your next chain, 1. Next chain, 1. Oop. You can remove your stitch marker, attach it to the band. You don't really need it if you are going to count 8 rubber bands. So now going on to round 4, 1 band in each chain around. Your last band, you want to do a slip knot to tie it off. So with your last band, just go through all of the loops as if you're doing a slip stitch, and it's the same thing as a slip knot. Give it a tug, remove your stitch marker, and now we're going to add a little bit of stuffing, not too much. I'm just going to roll it so that it goes in nicely. And put it inside. I just want to show you, if you do have any of the gaps, all you want to do is you want to find the rubber band, and it's a little knot here, and we're just going to give it a little tug. And by doing this, you're just releasing some of the tension. And that should be okay. So pause the video, and you want to make sure that you have a total of 4. Round 1 of the body, we're going to use our loom. So turn your loom upside down, and we're going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to take 1 rubber band, and I'm going to wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now grabbing your hook, you're just going to bring the bands through one at a time, as if you're doing a slip knot. On your hook, and bring the band over. Move it to the side. Your next band, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. Go back in for your 3rd band, bring it through, on your hook, and now these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. Go back in for your 4th band, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. Go back in, bring your last band, your 5th, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. And I'm going to attach my stitch marker to the band that's around my hook. Remove off the loom, and you should have 5 stitches. Be sure to move your bands around so that they're nice and neat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is on your hook. For round 2 of the body, we're going to add 2 rubber bands to each chain around. So you're just going 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Repeat this 5 times. And at the end of round 2, you should have 10 stitches. Going in your first chain, we're going to add 2 rubber bands, 1 at a time, on your hook and slide. Go back in and slide. Your next chain, again, 2 rubber bands, 1 at a time. Continue this pattern all the way around. Next chain with 2. Back in. Next chain with 2, back in, and your last chain with 2. So you should have 10 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Remove your stitch marker, and we're going to attach it to the band that's around your hook. I'm going to move my bands around. For round 3 of the body, we are going to add a tail now. So I just felt that the little tail is good enough like this. If you wanted to make it a little bit different or a little bit longer, go right ahead. So to make the tail, I'm going to do now. So you're going to need 3 rubber bands, and it's just going to look like this. So I'm going to take a single band and use my hook, so you might just want to push the start of your body up, and take a single band and wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So you have 3 loops. Now we're going to slide it onto double bands. I'm just going to put the other end on my hook so it's nice and neat, and now you can just remove. Now we're going to add this to chain 8 when we're going around. So the pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. You're going to repeat this 5 times. At the end of round 3, you're going to have 15 stitches. So I want to add this to chain 8. So chain 8 would just be your 8th rubber band that's going in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then the bottom one would be chain 9. So with the body now, we're going to go in our first chain with 1 rubber band and bring it through on your hook and slide. Your second chain, we're adding 2 rubber bands, 1 at a time. Next chain with 1. Next chain with 2. So now I'm at the 7th rubber band, so I'm going to go through with 1 band in there, and on my next chain I'm going to add the tail. So I'm going to grab the both ends on my hook. I'm going to try to get my finger in there, it's just easier, and I'm going to bring it through on my hook and slide. We're going back in that same chain with the tail and adding our 9th rubber band. Now continue the pattern 1, 2, 1, 2. So you should have 15 stitches going around. I'm going to remove the stitch marker and add it to the band that's around my hook. For round 4 of the body, the pattern is 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times, and at the end of round 4 you will have 20 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first chain with 1 rubber band, my second chain with 1, and the third chain we're going to add 2, 1 at a time. And repeat 1, next chain with 1, and the third with 2. And repeat 1. I'm at the tail now, so I'm just going to grab 2 of the bands, so 1 loop, like 1 rubber band here. So you'll have 2 loops on your hook. I don't want to grab the other band. And bring 1 band through. and then your next with 2. Go back in. And now just continue around. You should have 20 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker and attach it to the band around your hook. For rounds 5 to rounds 11, what we're going to do is single crochet in each chain around. So at the end of each round, you will have 20 stitches. So I have 20 rubber bands in each pile. So you're just going 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way around. I'm going to do round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and continue the rounds to rounds 11. So going in your first chain with 1, our second chain with 1, and continue this all the way around. If at any point in time during this video I'm going too fast, please pause the video and come back to me when you're done or when you've caught up. Stitches around. I'm going to be using C-clips in case I get distracted and I know where I left off, how many rounds I've done, and then you can just continue going around with 1 in each. 1. Pause the video and come back to me when you're done. For round 12 of the body, what we're going to do is start to decrease, so we're going to make it smaller. The pattern is 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times, and at the end of this round 12 you will have 15 stitches. So going in your first chain with 1 rubber band. Your second chain with 1. And now you're going to take chain 3, bring your hook to the center here, and go through chain 4 and bring your band through. With your finger, push the body to the center of that band to relieve some of the tension. Grab the other end and now slide and repeat. 1, your next chain, 1. Take chain 3 and chain 4 and stitch together. Repeat. 1, 1 in the next, 3 and 4 together. Should have 15 stitches. Just going to move my bands around to release some of the tension. Remove your stitch marker and attach it to the band around your hook. For round 13 of the body, the pattern is 1, 2, and 3 together. 1, 2, and 3 together. Repeat 5 times, and at the end of round 13, you will have 10 stitches. When we're done round 13, we're just going to add some stuffing inside. So going in your first chain with 1. If I didn't say, you'll have 10 stitches at the end of round 13. Go through. Now take chain 2 and chain 3 and stitch together. Repeat. 1, 2, and 3 together. One, 2, and 3 together. You should have 10 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker, attach it to the band around your hook, and now I'm just going to move this rubber band in the middle of my hook here, and we're going to add some stuffing. Excuse me. Don't add too much. You don't want it coming through the holes of the rubber band, so just enough. I'm thinking I can add a little bit more. I'm just going to pull the tail up. For round 14 of the body, our last round, we're going to close this off. So I'm just going, the pattern is 1 and 2 together, 1 and 2 together. And you're going to go all the way around, so you're just going to repeat this 5 times. Your last rubber band, you're going to do a slip knot. So I'm going to grab my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, chain 1, and take chain 2, and we're going to stitch together. Repeat. 1 and 2 and stitch together. One and 2 and stitch together. One and 2 and stitch together. And our last rubber band, let's go ahead and do a slip knot. So go through chain 1 and chain 2. I'm just going to remove the stitch marker now. And bring your band through all of the loops that are on your hook. Grab the other end and do a slip knot. Now I'm going to show you how to sew the legs on. Why we're going to do the legs now is because the head is we're just going to have a hard time getting it to stand. So it's best and easier to get the head to get him to stand if we do the legs first. So I'm going to show you to do that. I am going to use 2 brown bands just to show you where I am. So I'm just going to do 2 little knots here. So it will be a little bit easier to show you exactly how I'm sewing it. Don't give up. It's not that hard. What we want to do is just make sure that our legs are placed nice and neat here. So we don't want them out like this. We just kind of want them kind of like a little stool. I did sew a little bit crooked, so my tail is over here. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So I'm just going to tie my brown band on. what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my magic circle. Here's the tail, and here's our circle. Our pretty little flowered little circle. I'm just going to count 4 bands down. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to go right here. So I want to make sure that I am centered with the tail. So I'm just going to go about here. I mean, if you go over a little bit, and then after we can just put our hook inside and just move the stuffing over. If you did put the tail, the legs in the wrong spot, instead of just ripping it off first, if you just go in with your hook and move the stuffing around, it will even it up. Now grab one leg, and I'm going to do all 4 with you. We kind of want to make sure that our legs are straight down. So like this. What I'm going to do is take my hook and I'm going to go through the first chain that's beside our slip knot on the leg here. Now I'm going to grab one of the chains on the body, just so right above. I don't want to be sewing in the center. And you're going to grab 8 bands. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I'm going to grab 1 band and I'm going to bring it through the loops on the body, the loop on the leg, grab the end, and slide through. Now I'm going to go for the next chain on the leg, and I'm going to go right below and bring a band through. I'm going to bring it through all of the loops. You can just do like a crochet stitch and put it on your hook, but I'm going to actually bring it through all of the loops. Grab the end and slide. Our next stitch on the leg, we're going to go right below. So you want to make sure that you place the legs naturally into a circle, so you don't want to be sewing everything stretched. So just put it down naturally, and that's where you're going to be grabbing. Through all of the loops, grab the end and slide. The next chain on the leg, we're starting to turn, so put it down naturally, and that's where you want to be grabbing. Bring it through all of the loops, grab the end, and slide. Next chain on the leg, let it go naturally, and grab the chain on the body, bring a band through. Chain on the leg, put it down naturally, slide. Chain on the leg, chain on the body. We also want to make sure that we're like even at the sides. So I'm just going to grab a little bit up here. Bring it through. And the last chain on the leg and on the body. Grab the end and tie it off. So it's even. We have our tail in the center still, and even. Now we're going to go for the next leg. So again, I'm going to go right beside with my hook through the chain that's right beside my slip knot through the chain here. And now we're going to be looking here and here and here and here. So you can see that my brown band is in the center of my foot. So we want to start somewhere here. So if I start about here, right above my brown band, I will start to turn this way. I'm going to bring a band through on my hook and slide. Try not to grab the stuffing. Next chain, I'm going to just kind of measure and make it fall naturally. I just want to make sure where I'm grabbing. If I grab here, right above, and slide. So they're about even. I'm going to grab the band right beside, grab the end, and slide. So I'm still about even. Next chain on the leg. I'm going to go starting to turn. So I want to make sure that let it fall naturally. Next chain on the leg. I'm looking at the sides here now. We don't want one leg here, so we want to be about the same. Next chain. We want to make sure it's even now. Next chain. I feel like I grabbed maybe this one too far, so I think I'm just going to undo it for a second. And I'm going to go through again and bring it over. Next chain. And our last. Tie it off. And that should be okay. Now we're just going to sew where we have our slip knot on the body. So you're going to see that here's my slip knot. I'm just right below with the legs. And I'm just going to go down just a couple of stitches and do a brown knot with a brown band. I'm just going to do a little knot. So I just want to make sure that I'm even. So I'm just going to go like about here. I just want to make sure that I'm in the center somewhere, roughly. And that should be okay. My slip knot's a little bit to the side because my stuffing is on to the side. It's how we stuffed it with the rubber bands, they stretch. So make sure when you're placing the legs, we want them down. So I'm going to get started. We're going to use 8 rubber bands. I'm going to take my hook and go through the chain right beside the slip knot. And we're just going to be about here. So I'm going to be right below the slip knot. Bring your band through, on your hook, and slide. The next chain, on the leg. You want to make sure when you're placing it, we're even with the other leg and even with the other leg on the side. Chain on the leg, making sure that I'm even. Just checking. Chain on the leg. And now we just want to make sure where you're grabbing. I'm just measuring here too. And our last chain. Bring it through and do a slip knot. So that should be okay. I probably could have went a little bit more this way, but if you just bend it, it should be fine. And for our last leg, I'm going to put my hook through the chain right beside the slip knot. And again, I'm just going to be looking here, here now, here, and here. So I'm just going to grab right above, maybe here, with one rubber band. You'll be using 8 rubber bands. The next chain. I'm going to go right beside it. Put it here. Sorry, I'm just going to slide it through. Next chain. Next chain. And the last chain. I don't know if I should grab there or maybe here, right beside my brown band, and bring it through. Do a slip knot and tie it off. And that should be okay. So what you can do now is just take, you want to clean it up. If you pulled all of the stuffing like I just did. You want to take your hook and go right beside the slip knots, and then you can just hide the bands now. Just go right beside and bring these little slip knots through. Pause the video and you want to clean this up now, and then come back to me and we'll do the head. So now what we're going to do is make the pig snout. So for round 1, we're going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So turn your loom upside down. We're going to take a single band and we're going to wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. With your hook, reach in, grab your first band and bring it through. On your hook, and bring your band over, bring it to the side. Go back in, your second band, bring it through, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. Go back in for your third band, bring it through, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over and bring it to the side. Go back in, grab your band and bring it through, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over, bring it to the side. Go back in for your 5th band, bring it through, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. I'm going to attach my stitch marker to the band that's around my hook. Remove off the loom. You want to fix your bands around, and then you should have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is on your hook. For round 2 of the snout, we are going to add 2 rubber bands to each chain around. So at the end of round 2, you will have 10 stitches. So it's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Going in your first chain, we're going to add 2 rubber bands, 1 at a time. On your hook, slide. Go back in that same chain with your second rubber band. Your next chain with 2. Go back in. Your next chain with 2. And your next chain with 2. Go back in. And then your last chain with 2. On your hook, go through. You want to remove your stitch marker and attach it to the band around your hook. You should have 10 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For round 3 of the snout, what we're going to do is just add 1 rubber band to each chain around. So at the end of round 3, you should have 10 stitches. Our last rubber band, we're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So going in your first chain with 1. Next chain with 1. You should still have 10 stitches at the end of round 3 because we're only using 10 rubber bands. You're going to start to see it curl now. Oh, we need to do a slip knot, so sorry. I'm just going to remove it, go through again, bring it through all of the bands that are on your hook, and do a slip knot. I'm going to remove my stitch marker. Now what I'm going to do is just do some slip knots to some of the stitches going around of our snout. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, I'm holding the slip knot here. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my hook through chain 3 and I'm going to grab chain 4 and I'm going to stitch together. I'm going to bring it through both of the chains, grab the end and do a slip knot. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So I'm going to go 1, I'm counting right beside the slip knot, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go through chain 4 and go through chain 3 and grab a slip knot. A band and do a slip knot. Bring it to the center, grab the end and tie it off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a band and I'm going to go through, not right beside the slip knot, I'm going to go through this one. Okay, so it doesn't matter which way you grab, but I'm just going to go from the inside out. If I didn't say, you're using 6 rubber bands. So this is what you should have so far. I'm just going to give this a bit of a more tug. Here's your original slip knot. So I'm going to count right beside the slip knot, 1 and 2. I'm going to go through chain 2. Bring a band through. Grab the end and do a slip knot. So now you should have 2 chains at the top. I'm going to bring a rubber band through both of those, so one at a time. So just go through the top, bring a band through and do a slip knot. Grab the end and tie it off. And I'm going to go through the chain right beside it and bring it through and do a slip knot. So now I'm just going to place this right down and I'm going to show you how to do the head. So we're just going to leave that exactly like that. So round 1 of the head, you're going to use your loom, so turn it upside down. We're going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So you're going to take 1 rubber band and you can go around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. With your hook, reach in, bring a band through on your hook and bring this band over and slide. Go back in for your second rubber band, bring it through on your hook and 2 bands over, bring it to the side. Go back in for your third band, bring these 2 loops over, bring it to the side. Go back in for your fourth band, bring it through on your hook, bring your bands over to the side. And your last, on your hook, 2 bands over. I'm going to use a C-clip as my stitch marker and remove off the loom, and you should have 5 stitches. Move your bands around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is on your hook. Round 2 of the head, we're just going to add 2 rubber bands to each chain around. You're going to repeat this 5 times. At the end of round 2, you will have 10 stitches. So we're just increasing on every stitch around with 2 bands. So going through your first chain, bring 1 band through, go back in that same chain and add your second rubber band. Your next chain with 2. Back in. Third chain with 2. Back in. Next chain with 2. Back in. And your last chain with 2. Should have 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remove your stitch marker and move your bands around. Round 3 of the head, we are just going to increase on every second stitch. So the pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. Repeat this pattern 5 times. At the end of round 3, you will have 15 stitches. So again, this is where we increase. So going in our first stitch with 1 band. On your hook, slide. Our second stitch will have 2 bands, 1 at a time. Go back in and repeat. 1, next stitch with 2, and again repeat. 1, next stitch will have 2. Continue this pattern all the way around. Oops, I went in the wrong stitch, sorry. That goes back in the same one. And then 1 and then 2 in the last stitch. So you should have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, attach it to the band around your hook, and move your bands around. It should stay flat. For round 4 of the head, the pattern is going to be 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, where we're going to repeat this pattern 5 times. At the end of round 4, you have 20 stitches. But this is the round where we're going to add the eyes. So I'm just going to move my band up and show you how to do this with rubber bands if you don't have the pony beads. Again, these are 4 millimeter. You're going to take one band, any color band you'd like for the eyes, and wrap it around your hook 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to slide this onto one of our pink bands, pinch, and slide. And now for the other one. I'm going to show you where to place it. It's on chains 8 and chains 11. I just don't want to ruin the pattern right now. My next eye, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to slide this onto a pink band to the center and remove off my hook. I'm using the pony beads. So I'm going to take a pink band and slide through. Pinch and slide. Okay, so we're going to add this one eye to chain 8. So it'll be your 8th rubber band. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 7 will go through first, and then the eye. Then 9, 10, and 11 I'm going to replace. That's how we're going to be grabbing our bands. So going in your first chain with 1. Second chain with 1. Third chain will have 2. Back in and repeat. 1, 1 in the next, and now we're going to add 2, one of those bands being the eye. First I'm going to grab my single band here, bring it through, go back in, going to grab one end of this band with the eye on, try to get it on your finger, and bring it through. Now repeat the pattern. 1, 1 in the next, and then 2 in the next. The first band being your eye. Bring it through, on your hook, and slide. Go back in and add your second rubber band. And just continue this pattern till you get to the end. So you should have 20 stitches. I'm going to remove my stitch marker, attach it to the band around my hook. Now what we're going to do is sew on the snout. So we're just going to grab our piece here. If you don't have a C-clip to support it, like this, you can just take off your stitch marker, undo the last band, remove it, and do a slip knot. So go back in and do a slip knot, just so the face doesn't start to unravel. Now we're just going to turn it around. What I'm going to do is we're going to need one single band to be able to do a slip knot to tie this off. I'm going to grab the snout. This is our original slip knot, and I'm going to keep that right at the bottom. So I'm just going to turn it around. And this is our example. You're going to see that all I did was just bring the bands through to the other side. So I am just going to look for my original slip knot, and I'm going to bring it through here. So I'm going to go through my hook, and you're going to see that my original slip knot is about here. So I'm going to go through. So this is where it is. I'm going to go through, grab the slip knot, and bring it through to the back. Now, making sure that you don't have it twisted, we want to have it nice and flat. If you want, you can do the top slip knot. It's at this little hole right between the eyes here. Just trying to make it a little bit easier for you, or more difficult, sorry. Now we're just going to bring our slip knots through the holes, making sure that you don't stretch it. And you can, if you don't like the placement and you see that the bands are stretched, you can just remove this after. I have one more to go through. So that should be okay. I'm just going to turn it around, and I'm just going to grab one of the bands, grab the next band, and just slide it. Again, I'm just going to check to make sure that it looks all right. Going to turn it around, and now I'm just going to grab part of the body here on the face here, two of the bands on the actual face, and I'm going to bring a band through and do a slip knot to secure it and give it a tug. And that should be okay. Now for rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8, we're just going to add one rubber band to each chain around. So you'll have 20 bands in each pile and 20 stitches at the end of each round. I need to undo this last band and put my stitch marker back. So I'm just going to go in the same chain, attach my stitch marker. I'm going to do round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to do round 6, 7, and 8. So just adding one rubber band in each chain all the way around. Make sure you get the little stitches right beside the pony beads if you're using them. The pony beads pull and make that stitch smaller. I'll be leaving my stitch marker and adding a new one just so I know I've done enough rounds. And now you can pause the video and continue with round 6, 7, and 8 and come back to me when you're done. Round 9 of the head, the pattern is, we're going to make it smaller. So the pattern is 1, 1, 3, and 4 together. 1, 1, 3, and 4 together. Repeat this pattern 5 times, and at the end of round 9 you will have 15 stitches. So we're going to decrease. So going through our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, adding 1 rubber band. Our next stitch with 1. Now take chains 3 and chain 4 and stitch together. Bring your band through, put your body to the center of that band, grab the other end and slide, and repeat. 1, 1 in the next, 3 and 4 together. Repeat. 1, 1, 3 and 4 together. And repeat all the way around. Continue the pattern. I drop my stitches, pick them up, three and 4. Remove your stitch marker, attach it to the band around your hook, and you should have 15 stitches. For round 10 of the head, what we're going to do is decrease again, and the pattern is going to be 1, 2, and 3 together. 1, 2, and 3 together. Repeat this pattern 5 times. At the end of round 10, you should have 10 stitches. So going in your first chain with 1. Now take chain 2 and chain 3 and stitch together. Next stitch with 1, next chain with 1, and then take chain 2 and chain 3 and stitch together. Repeat. 1, 2 and 3 together. 1, 2, and 3 together. 1, 2, and 3 together. Now you should have 10 stitches. We're just going to add some stuffing. So it's up to you if you'd like to remove the stitch marker. As of now, I'm just going to put it down because I tend to lose my stitch marker at this point. So I'm just going to move the band up, and you're going to grab some stuffing. Try not to overstuff it because you're going to have a hard time getting it to stand up. So you can see kind of with my hand about where it's at. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is how you want to stuff it. You can stretch the rubber bands if you put too much stuffing. So I'm just going to roll this around. I think this is probably going to be too much. Yeah, it's definitely too much. I can probably get away with adding just a little bit more. You can remove after at the end if you are having a hard time getting it to stand. You just put your hook through and pull some out. And I think that should be okay. Now for round 11, we're just going to close this off. I'm just going to attach my stitch marker back. You're going to grab chains 1 and 2 together, 1 and 2 together. Repeat 5 times. Your last rubber band, you're going to be doing a slip knot to tie it closed. So going through your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, get chain 1 and chain 2 and stitch together. Repeat 1 and 2 and stitch together. One and 2 and stitch together. And my last 2. You're going to pull the band through all of the loops that are on your hook. Grab the end and tie it off. I'm going to grab my stitch marker and remove. Our head is done. Now what we're going to do is the ears. So I'm going to use my loom, turn your loom upside down, and we're going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. But I'm going to wrap my single band around the bottom peg 4 times. So go 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to be doing both ears with you, so both of them. You're going to go through and you're going to bring the 6 rubber bands through, one at a time. 1 on your hook, bring the band over and slide. Go back in. Second rubber band, bring the 2 over and slide. Go back in. Your third rubber band, bring it through, slide. Bring your band through on your hook and these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. We will be doing a half a circle on your hook and slide. Go through, bring your hook through, these 2 bands over, bring it to the side. Remove off the loom, and you don't want to fix, you want to have a half a circle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my hook, so I'm going to hold here, remove, and go down. Now, for round 2, we're going to use 5 rubber bands, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to go through this chain here where my band is coming through and bring your band through on your hook and slide. Going through the next chain with 1 band on your hook and slide. Your next chain, 1. Your last rubber band, you're going to be doing a slip knot. next chain with 1, and our last chain. Slip knot, so bring it through all of the bands, grab the end, and tie it off. So this is what it should look like. Now you're going to grab 3 rubber bands, and we're going to do slip knots. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to turn it this way. So my slip knot is on this side. Now I'm going to go through right beside the slip knot, and I'm going to bring a band through and do another slip knot. Now I'm going to go through right through our center and bring a band through and do a slip knot. And right beside the center, bringing another band through. Slip knot. So this is our ear. We're going to make another one now. For the other ear, for round 1, again, 6 single crochets in the magic ring. Turn your loom upside down and use the bottom part. 1 band wrapped around the bottom 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to bring the 6 bands through one at a time. Go through, bring it through as if you're doing a slip knot on your hook, and bring the band over, bring it to the side. Go back in, your second band on your hook, and bring these 2 loops over. Bring it to the side. Your next band, bring it through on your hook, and these 2 bands over, bring it to the side. Go back in on your hook and bring these 2 bands over, bring it to the side. Go back in for your 5th band, bring it through, and your 6th. Remove off the loom. I'm going to hold here and move my hook and turn it upside down. Now for round 2 of the ear, we're going to use 5 rubber bands. I'm going to go through the same stitch where my band is and bring a band through. My next stitch, bring a band through, slide. Next stitch, next stitch, I lost all my stitches. Grab them, grab them, grab them. 1, and my next stitch, and the last stitch. We need to do a slip knot. I'm just going to undo it. Sorry about that. Last band, undo. Last band, bring it through all of the loops and tie off. Now we're going to attach our sewing bands, 3 bands. I'm going to go turn it upside down. I'm going to go bring the slip knot, and I'm going to go right beside the slip knot, bringing a band through, grab the end. I'm going to go through the center circle, our magic ring, bring your band through, and right beside the circle, the chain. So our 2 ears are done. Now we're going to sew on the ears. I'm going to do this side first. So you can see right beside your eyes, you're going to see a chain. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to be going through this chain here, chain 4. You're going to see, and I'm going to be sewing that way. So let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm about here. Did I do that one? No, the next one. So you're going to see where the eye is. It's on an angle. And grab the ear. This is our original slip knot, and I'm going to bring it through. Now when you're sewing the ear, if you sew, you have to be careful how you sew. You want to kind of sew this way so you can see. I'm going to sew from behind. So I'm going to kind of sew down. I'm going to go through the stitch right beside, bringing the band slip knot through my next chain. And the next chain. And then you can just check to make sure that you like the placement. If not, just open it up. And I think I'm okay. So now you're just going to go right behind. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this band in here that we had a slip knot in the center here and bring a single band through and do a slip knot. Now for the next ear, you're going to notice that I went through this stitch right here for this ear, and now this one, I'm just going to go right beside it. So here's where I went, and I'm just going to go right beside it. You're going to see right here, this is where you want your ear to go. Now it depends on how you want to sew this. I am going to sew this way, which is kind of awkward, but I'm going to prefer right now to do that way. So bring your band through. Okay, now I'm going to go right beside, so you can kind of like, this is how I'm going to hold it. I'm going to go through the next chain right beside it. So you could count 4 chains over, 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4. This is where you'll be. So it's up to you, really. Maybe I'll do that so it's easier. So I'm going to go making sure that we're at the same spot about here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and my last one. And 4. So they look okay. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to grab the stitch, the slip knot, right in the center, and bring a band through on my hook and slide. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sew the head onto the body. I'm going to ask you to hide this slip knot. So I'm going to bring it through. That's the one that we had in the back of the head here where we closed it off. And I am going to go right beside it in the center of the head. And I'm going to attach a rubber band. So I'm going to use 9 rubber bands, and I'm going to bring it through and do a slip knot. Now on either side, I'm going to add another slip knot. These are going to be our sewing bands. So I'm going to go right beside that, maybe right here. Or I'm actually going to move up one, so I'm straight. And do a slip knot. I'm going to do this to the other side. Maybe, it depends really how much stuffing you have. So I'm just trying to stay straight. Just making sure your center one is in the center. Now I'm going to go right above it, to the stitches right above it, and bring another band through. I'm going to do the same thing on either side, one, and then another slip knot. And I'm just going to go about, I'm going to bring this band over right beside it. Now I'm just going to go right below and do the same thing. 1, 2, and 3. So right below, bring a band through, and on the other side, 1, and now on the other side. So just something along the lines of like this. I think this one is a little bit too high, so I'm just going to remove it because I can come down a stitch. Where is it? Now you're going to grab the body, making sure that the tail is at the back. And we're going to find the proper placement. So if I'm going to start, here's my tail. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of count 6 rows. Again, it depends on how you have your body. Here's the tail. So I'm going to be starting like around this row right here. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to count, this is the tail, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I'm going to do one more, 6. So I'm going to do something around here. So if this is the tail, I'm going to grab 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to grab the top row bands. So 1, right beside it, 2, oops, 2, and right beside that 3. I hope you can see. Now I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to go at the bands right below this one. So I'm going to grab 1, 2, and 3 are middle bands. 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go 1 through the body, grab 1 slip knot in the middle, slide. The next one, and right beside that, 3. Now I'm going to have to turn it around again, and I'm going to go at the bands right below, 1, 2, and 3. So go through. Grab my last one here, slide through, the next stitch on the body, and then the last stitch. We're going to make sure the head looks good. I want to bring it down just a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is you have to do a slip knot, so we're going to need 1 band. And I'm going to grab a chain on the face and a chain on the body. And that should be okay. And we'll do a slip knot. and just fix up the face. If you find that you have too much stuffing, first what you want to do is just put your hook through, bring the stuffing away from the holes. You can bring the eyes down. You can hide your slip knots on the ears, bring it through, and then just bring it through the body. And you're done. I hope you enjoyed Looming with Cheryl. Please subscribe down below. I have a lot more designs to load, and I will see you next time with another. Bye for now.